Who calls CPS?
I don't know.
Hasan's getting notes during the debate from a guy called Chris CPS.
Oh, what? That's insane.
Hila was doing mandatory military service. What should she have done?
There's numerous options.
The rich Hasan doesn't have to do a thing to try to help Gaza, but the poor Hila, back when she was like 19, she's responsible for everything.
Palestinian BDS National Committee endorses the organic boycott campaign against Coca-Cola to pressure the company. I will no longer showcase Coca-Cola products.
No longer showcase it. Not no longer drink it.
And what does Hasan got in his fridge? Diet Coke.
That's crazy.
Two principles that you should keep with you.
Whoa.
Never align with the Western forces.
I mean, if you think America is so bad, then why was Hasan upset when they got rid of US aid to other countries?
This guy also streams on Twitch, an Amazon-owned subsidiary that is also on the BDS list, thanking his viewers for Twitch Primes every other stream.
Your contributions in the form of a subscription, a free one in the form of a Twitch Prime.
It's free with Twitch Prime. It's just not $3. Hey guys, let's get this farty started. Something like that. Party farted. I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. We're going to do this Willie Mac video. It's called Hasan's Criminal. He owns a criminal, featuring Noah Samson, Denims, and Millhouse. Hey, listen, we always like to goon to the content and have a nice chill vibe, so let's just fucking go, dude. You know we love Willard Macklemore in here, so let's do it, dude. Let's do it!
I've been covering the most empathetic people on YouTube. We
That's very true.
got Millhouse, who hates on a woman who was a child bride.
Damn, terrible.
What the f is wrong with you, fuck crazy ass bitch? I'm sorry, folks. I had to call. The word came out, folks. I'm sorry. If I had
Why call her crazy bitch?
the button, I would have buttoned it. I can't. Okay, I fucking hate these people. They're
Why?
horrific. These people are horrific. This couple is a horrible couple. I don't give a f that she was a fucking a child bride, bro.
He doesn't know if anything she's
I don't know. What? I'm not trying to be rude. Why do you think he doesn't care? Do you think he doesn't care because he's terminally online? Or is it because in maybe whatever culture he engages in, trial brides are like normalized, so they don't see that as see it as disgusting as it actually is? You know, I'm not trying to like shit on the guy, but like I know that there are a lot of places that are highly religious. It's not even just like one religion. It's not just Muslim countries. It's any like highly religious place that will be okay with like arranged child marriages, which are always abusive. And so I don't know if he's trying to have a based Twitter moment where he's, you know, try to get people to go and look at his content, or if this is something that like maybe is a little more ingrained in the culture where it's like, oh, it's just child marriage. You know what I mean? But her story was pretty gross, man. It was pretty horrible. Well, I mean, horrible. What? I'm not trying to be like disrespectful. I'm just saying like it's something to keep in mind. But her story is like horrible. I don't mean like gross in like a way where she's gross. Her story was horrible. It was terrible to listen to. You know, she was abused. She was a child bride. She was abused. She was taken advantage of. Her husband was abusive to her. It was really terrible, man. It was really terrible.
said was false, by the way. He's just crashing out because he hates Ethan.
Oh, look, good pause right here, huh? Look at that.
Ooh,
I
got
was
her.
a child bride. Again, I mean, it's very sad to be child bride, but to grow up to be an adult bitch. Sorry about that. Ooh.
Ooh, what makes her a bitch? Because she's upset with Ethan, with iDubbbz and Anissa. Are those their names? Yeah, I say iDubbbz. I say Anissa and Anissa's husband so much I don't even know anymore. What makes him a bitch? I don't understand. Why can't we extend like a little bit of empathy to them, even if you disagree with them? I don't understand.
You went from child bride to adult piece of shit.
Crazy. By the way, these are people telling you that you should have empathy for other countries, okay? But they can't even have empathy for a child bride, but they want you to have empathy for a terrorist organization, Hamas. Just to be clear, right? It's like that's a bit tall order. If you can't even do the bare minimum of like, you know what? I think child bride that bad. You know, it's a hard sell to try to get somebody to be on board with like, you know, selling Gaza and Hamas people. And I know that Hamas doesn't absolutely represent everybody there, but still, I mean, that's a tall order here. You know, I feel like being empathetic to child brides is the bare minimum, dude. It's the bare minimum, dude.
QN your story. Let's
Noah Samson's been spending his time calling out YouTubers for supporting genocide, even though they don't. He's just lying for views. But the short of it is, if you criticize Hasan in any way, you are an evil Zionist genocide supporter. He ends his video by telling his viewers to do something about it. Wink, wink.
People living in the West have the most power over anyone else in the world to stop.
We're so powerful.
Stop the genocide. We are
We're
living
powerful.
In the belly of the beast. We have direct geographical, physical access to the politicians, the propagandists, the weapons companies, and
doesn't Hasan have the like biggest ability to do stuff like that? Why doesn't he just like? But he can't even not drink a Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi. Excuse me. Why doesn't he just like move to Canada where they don't give us like all their tax money to fucking Israel like they do in America? I don't really understand.
the supply chains that are facilitating this genocide. Protesting.
Why doesn't he just like create his own like little streaming thing like other streamers do? where like, yeah, he could stream on Twitch and still on like YouTube maybe, but then like try to route people back to, you know, Hasan.gg or something. That's just his streaming site. Not like a huge massive streaming site, but just a site where he streams on. He can do that. Other people do that to try to take away money from, you know, Twitch, which is a subsidiary of Amazon, which is on the VDS list, right? I don't know. It seems kind of strange to me. A lot of talk. A lot of rules for us, or a lot of rules for thee, but not for he, you know?
Is great. We should keep doing that. But also, you know, I feel like we have to be honest with ourselves. 17 months in, and what is protesting actually accomplished?
Not much. I mean, you guys wouldn't even actively advocate for Kamala Harris being president, so it kind of fucked us there.
Nothing. If we want this genocide to stop, it's time to escalate.
If we wanted the genocide to stop, make sure that we don't advocate for people voting for Kamala Harris.
That's all I'm saying. So anyways, yes.
See, you can lay it out very easily, one sentence at a time. It's quite clear. We in the West have direct physical access to a bunch of people, including the propagandists, after just labeling a bunch of people creators.
Do you guys think that, I like Lonerbox, just to be clear. Do you guys think Lonerbox watched a little too much Destiny? Because now he just has like, he has like the lisp, you know? Sorry, I know I have a couple of mannerisms too. I'm just being a little silly.
There's propagandists. What does protesting achieve? Well, some things, but you know, overall, basically nothing. If we want this to stop, we need to escalate. That's all I'm saying. I'm sorry. If you had a clear vision for what needs to be done to stop the genocide, you would say it because you want to direct your audience into something fruitful. Unless the thing you want your audience to do
is cry on Twitter.
Is against TOS. Criminal, violent, etc. He's calling for people to...
Probably. I just don't... I think that Americans are too lazy to really do anything that they're saying. So it's like... It's kind of like babies babbling. Like a virtue signal. You know, it's just like... It's the dog whistle of commit violence knowing that they won't because they're too fucking lazy to do anything about it. You know what I mean?
Do something...
You shouldn't commit violent acts, but you know, if you're going to talk to talk, you know, walk to walk, pussy, you know?
Thing that he is too cowardly to say himself. He's calling for people to...
Me personally, I think we should have just voted... the beautiful black queen, Kamala Harris.
Do dirty work for him. That's what this is.
He wants them to send more skulls to Ethan Klein.
Just a death threat to a father.
I mean, iDubbbz has a huge fucking skull, so maybe that's a good idea.
A family.
Since then, 2 low-level staffers at the Israeli embassy were shot in D.C.
Yep, and Hasan did his best to say it wasn't a false flag. Wink, 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 wink. Dude, how the fuck did I not assassinate? That was crazy to me. But he was definitely heavily insinuating it was a false flag. I don't think it's a false flag, but I don't think it's a false flag, but what Hasan is trying to communicate to you, he's trying to dog whistle that Israel killed 2 Jews in America so that they could play victim. That's what I got out of it. Lots of silly little dog whistles, dude. Lots of silly little dog whistles.
In the name of Palestine. But what was Noah's response in his charity live stream? Well, it's to dismiss it as not being serious and mock people who found it worrying.
Smart move on not covering current events, by the way. You mean specific current events or in general? Because 2 pro-peace Jews dead.
Damn. He's thinking no such thing. Just to be clear, there is a such thing. But Noah Sampson is the one who thinks that on the street content is a bad representation of a society unless it's Jews. Unless it's Israeli Jews, then he thinks all Israeli people are bad. Like, you could watch his videos. I'm not even kidding. Like, I remember, like, specifically, like, dwelling on that point. It's fucking insane. The guy actually, I really think that, everybody wants a justification to feel violent. They wanna feel justified in some kind of violence and hatred, and so they'll do their best to do something. You know, it's just like the nature of people, unfortunately.
Read what they were saying. Pro-peace is crazy.
Even so, would they deserve it?
Yes, it did. Noah has repeatedly made calls to violence and multiple protesting isn't enough.
Protesting isn't enough, guys.
I'm scared.
Protesting isn't enough, guys. Don't vote, though. Don't vote productively.
I'm scared.
Hey.
YouTube video scared me. No. The sentiment, though, is 1,000% true. That protesting isn't enough.
So you're calling for escalation against propagandists, and you just made several videos calling Ethan and other YouTubers propagandists. We're already at the point of death threats, Noah. What does further escalation mean? People like Noah are cowards because they don't want to ruin their cushy lives.
It is unambiguously a call for violence, okay? I'm sorry. And he doesn't want to spoil...
Hey, listen, dude. Armchair advocation, baby.
His cute little life. He doesn't want to fuck his income and ruin the little cushy career that he's got a hold of. He doesn't want to do that. He wants other people to fuck up their lives and get thrown in jail or whatever else for him. He wants other people...
I mean, Noah's just another slop creator like the rest of us. He just pretends he's morally righteous. He just makes a video every once in a while about Palestine, makes a bunch of money. Ethan in Palestine. If you know, I don't think he really makes any videos that are not centralized around Ethan Klein being a bad guy. I mean, it's basically the same as us. It's just that, you know, well, at least we try to do some other stuff for fun. But that's pretty much the whole strategy. Base strategy? Printing unlimited money?
To be Luigi or fucking what's his face, Aaron Bushnell. Interesting that he said propagandists, because that might actually encompass the people that he's just spent the entire video calling genocide defenders.
Ethan is making the obvious observation that these people are encouraging an escalation of violence inside the United States, and Hasan crazy makes him.
Understand that me and Gila are just as valid targets to them. I don't think so. That's ridiculous. I've known this as people like Hasan and iDubbbz lecture me about hallucinating threats. I knew this the moment I ended Leftovers. Why would I want to be a member of a community that would literally cheer on my death?
It's funny because, like, Ethan wasn't hallucinating threats, but I do think that all the threats got to him, and he acted in a way that people were going to perceive as fucking crazy. And then they kind of harped on that, and they're like, see, Ethan's crazy, blah, blah, blah. And it worked for a while. And then iDubbbz released his video about Ethan, and that really is what shifted the narrative. I just find it so funny that iDubbbz making a video made things worse for Hasan. They got together like, let's make this really great video, and people hate iDubbbz so much. It's so funny that they switch their perspective. I find it to be so funny, dude. It's just it's so fucking poetic.
There is a toxic, violent, nihilistic extremism brewing on the left, and it should scare all of us.
Okay.
No, this is a hallucination. Have some fucking dignity.
No,
you
it's
are
not
not
a
a
bad guy.
victim, just a narcissist.
Since then, a Jewish group marching for hostages to be released had a Molotov thrown at them. Now, Noah did delete this section from his video, but
That's crazy. But look at this fucking whale, dude. It's got a fucking bussy mouth. Holy shit.
as we just saw, he doubled down on his charity live stream. It's such a bad look that they act like Ethan wasn't sent skulls as a death threat, that the H3 crew sent the skulls to themselves.
You guys opened it. You're the ones that fucking opened that shit. AB, that was you handling it, right?
That's terrible. Look at this
Yes,
thing.
it
though.
was. I can confirm that Ethan did not send it to himself, and
How do you know?
we were all freaked out about
Dude, it looks like a chubby girl's pussy, dude. I bet Dan is loving this right now, dude. You know he's a chubby chaser. I don't know if you guys know this, but Dan's a huge chubby chaser.
I was scared out of my mind.
I mean, yeah, we have armed guards at the office now. That's not funny at all.
And
Damn,
someone
that's
sarcastically
terrible.
replied, calling the cat account racist. And the cat account responded, to be fair, Israelis do be constantly lying. So he's
Jesus Christ, what a fucking asshole.
just being racist right here out in the open. But it's fine to these people.
It's unfortunate because, you know, he means it. If he's just trying to be like a little silly guy, it could have been so fun. But, like, you know, it's just we can't have fun anymore because all you guys mean every fucking racist joke you guys make, you all mean. I don't mean any of it. I'm just having a fun time. These guys mean everything that they say, and it ruins it for the rest of us that are just trying to make some silly little jokes.
People because it's against Israelis. They reply again, they could start by not constantly getting caught lying about it. So I said, show me proof of them lying right now. No response because these people don't care about the truth. If
Wasn't that that Gato guy's whole thing is just going on Twitter and finding clips of Ethan? Don't you think that they should have like multiple examples of Ethan lying then?
you criticize them, they'll label you their enemy and dehumanize you. A person who
And then that would be like a big own moment because Willie Mac is like in one of the, I guess you could call him like one of the upper tier of Ethan defenders, we'll call it, you know?
barely deserves a spot in society.
I think like this will never happen, but in a totally just world, any kind of, regardless of your background, any kind of fucking Zionist tendency should be treated in the same way as being a fucking rabid neo-Nazi. And you shouldn't even let someone be the fucking local dog catcher as Felix was posting.
The dog walker comment.
I really wish that they would, like, you guys got to keep the part in where he says any positive sentiment towards Israel ever. I feel like that's such a relevant thing to add in there. Because it's one thing to be like, oh, you're just a Zionist, but like he says any positive sentiment towards Israel ever. Like, even if you're somebody that lives there and you're like, oh, I like the laws here. They're the most progressive in the Middle East. You're just like, nope, you're basically a Nazi. So I don't know why we always remove that context from it when we talk about it. I feel like that runs defense almost for Hasan in some capacity. No, I'm looking through some clips. Here's the false flag, like him insisting on the false flag thing from before.
Either this is an adventurist who thought that he would get like Luigi Mangione level prominence off of this or something, or just a dude who thought that this was the best possible thing to do. But like I'm not Mr. False Flag at all, but like every single thing that he did in the aftermath of the shooting is so crazy that it's like you could not have designed a incident like this.
This is a dog whistle for him saying it's a false flag, by the way, but he knows he can't explicitly say it.
You could not have designed a better false flag incident like this. I'm not saying it is a false flag incident at all. I'm not saying that. I think,
guys, it's definitely it sounds just like a false flag, but it's not one at all.
This is just a one dude.
Guys, one dude
is genuine in his actions.
Definitely not.
Maybe a little bit brain broken. Okay, but it is crazy. This was legit the worst thing that could happen to the movement.
Incredible. I think this is the clip here of Hasan Parker.
I think like this will never happen, but in a totally just world, any kind of, regardless of your background, any kind of fucking Zionist tendency should be treated in the same way as being a fucking rabid neo-Nazi. And you shouldn't even let someone be the fucking local dog catcher as Felix was posting if they've ever exhibited any sort of like positive feelings about the state of Israel.
Like right there, that saying every single Israeli Jew or anybody who's ever had like a positive, like, oh, Israel's kind of good. Like that's in any capacity. Obviously, I'd say most people condemn what's going on in Gaza. But like, if you're just like, yeah, I think Israel has the right to exist, but they shouldn't be doing what they're doing in Gaza, you're a rabid neo-Nazi. That's fucking crazy. That is fucking ridiculous. No?
Man, the local dog catcher or whatever it was, that was exceptional from you. And that is progress. You might not see it, but it is.
What's crazy is the creators that Hasan and company hate largely agree with them on the main issue. What people have a problem with is their dishonesty and lying.
We have a lot of grievances not pertaining to the actual issue at hand. But
I don't know. The issue, my friend, the issue at hand is your behavior.
Committing a genocide.
I can care about two things, Hasan. It's very important to acknowledge that.
Don't you think
I can care about two things, my friend?
Incredibly narrow framework
very
surrounding
easy.
your own.
This stuff gets a little toxic. I need a breath of fresh air.
Oh my god. I didn't even expect it this time. I didn't even expect the fucking plug this time, dude.
With Fume has no vapor, no nicotine, no...
You know the deal, guys. We watched the ads.
...battery. It's just flavored air, and it's part of a whole new movement towards better habits. Or as I like to call it, my favorite toy to fidget with.
Okay.
I've been using Fume for over 6 months. It's really fun. My girlfriend's always trying to steal it from me. It comes in a whole variety of flavors. Crisp mint is by far my favorite, but I've been on a bit of an orange vanilla kick lately. I often used to find myself going to the kitchen for another snack when I was bored, or grabbing a 4th cup of coffee, even though I definitely don't need it. Whereas now I just play around with the...
I just drink decaf coffee. It actually keeps me pretty full.
Fume a bit, get that little stimulant of flavor when needed. And I'm right back to work. Fume has served over 500,000 customers, and you could be their next success story. So give the gift of better habits by going to tryfume.com/WillyMac or scan the QR code and get a free topper when you sign up for the Journey Pack today. Thank you, Fume, for sponsoring this video. I have long documented Hasan's history of lying and him trying to lie more to get out of it. But the fact is, Hasan's been busy lately, and I don't want him to get away scot-free with all of these new lies. So let's break down his tactics. First one is catching Hasan mid-lie, and then when he knows he can't escape...
How come he doesn't wear that Free Palestine thing more? How come he only wears it like when he's trying to antagonize Ethan? I don't really understand that.
Double down because he can't ever admit fault.
Do you think it's appropriate to accuse any Jewish person you disagree with of working with the ADL?
Right here, Hasan's caught off guard because he knows he said something stupid.
No.
Ethan then plays a clip of Hasan doing...
That's right, I had to rewatch it.
He's caught off guard because he knows he said something stupid.
No.
Ethan then plays a clip of Hasan doing just that.
When his knows I'm not anti-Semitic and making these inferences that I am and like partnering with like the ADL and...
Partnering with the ADL. You want to unpack that one there, buddy?
Partnering.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the insinuation that what he's doing by that is he's insinuating that like Ethan is a Jewish person working with the ADL, another like a Jewish organization. Like that's the general insinuation there. That's the whole that's kind of the whole point of what they're doing there. And it's like an anti-Semitic dog whistle. That's the whole thing. To be like, oh, the Jews control stuff. That's what you're supposed to get out of that as a epic-based Hasan Parker fan.
Again, working with partnering with the ADL. That is precisely what took place.
I have never spoken to the ADL, so what does that mean?
Now, there's no evidence that Ethan colluded with the ADL other than the ADL also hates Hasan. So
yes,
Hasan's only...
And that's where he hides behind. Well, the ADL has gone after me and so has Ethan. So when I said working with, I mean like they both had the same goal. They just happen to have the same goal. But that's not what he's doing. Again, it's a dog whistle. Hasan's a progressive. He knows what dog whistles are. He talks about them all the time. He just wants to ignore them when they have a negative impact on him.
The option here is to double down.
I'm not saying you directed the ADL
Do you know
to take
how
action.
silly you
Well, actually, you
look?
know what? I am kind of saying that. I am implying that you directed the ADL to take action.
Well, that's
you are a prominent.
that's a
you are
defamatory
prominent
claim that has
content
zero
creator.
proof. And frankly, it sounds a little Jewish conspiratorial.
And finally, he
the fuck is
tops
the bear
off the
not
lie
dead?
by making a meaningless distinction, but acting like it was a well-thought-out comment.
I thought that you worked for the ADL. I wouldn't have
I've
said
not
you worked
spoken
with
to the ADL.
I would have said you worked for the ADL.
Hasan's thinking he's Jewish and criticizes me. Must be working with the ADL. He's not done either, and you have no evidence. He's just lying to slander Ethan's character, and when pressed to find an example, he says the dumbest thing.
It got nothing to do with the ADL. Blame Frogan for doing a racist fucking panel at TwitchCon that became a viral story independent of me.
Panel, Ethan.
It wasn't a racist panel, guys. Even if it wasn't, again, like if Hasan was being morally consistent, he would have spoken out against it and been like, oh, you know what? They weren't being racist against Jews at all, even though they were. But I could see how it looks like that, so we should be more sensitive and like, you know, you guys should apologize for that. He didn't say that at all. He overly defended it. That's obviously what it is.
Just like cracker is not an anti-white term.
Okay, it is an anti-white term, so.
Cracker is an anti-white term. So did
It is. It just doesn't have enough power. Oh my God, you used to crack the whip on us. Oh, that's crazy, man. That's really insulting. That's tough, though. I understand that people want to kind of come up with a good white slur. I like Bleach Demon. I thought that was so funny when I first heard that. Makes me feel like I'm the ghost from Tsushima. Ghost from Mayonnaise. I don't know. Anyway. Oh, these guys think I'm their friend because I'm wearing their armor. Look at us. We're all friends now, dude. Hey. Oh, what the fuck?
Hasan think he was yelling about brown people all those times he was saying cracker? It makes those clips come off a little different.
Did I say, oh my God, saltine cracker? Like people are just bitter because it's saltine cracker. That's not what I said. You dumb cracker bitch. This person.
Whoa, that's crazy, dude.
Has literally never been around black people. There's a person who does not have a single black or brown friend.
I want you to remember that Ethan and Hasan don't disagree on much. And when Ethan confronts Hasan with this reality, he essentially says, I just don't like that you criticize me.
Because I thought that you were a lot more open-minded until
what have we disagreed on?
What
have we disagreed on? I'm sorry. What am I not open-minded about? What have we disagreed on, Hasan, other than me criticizing you and your friends? What have I said against the Palestinian people? Go ahead. What do we disagree on?
What we are disagreeing on is what you choose to focus on.
Does that seem
and
significant?
What you think is the major point of contention here?
What's the major point of contention here? Israel's right to exist, but what's happening in Gaza is terrible. Again, Hasan didn't even advocate to vote for Kamala Harris, so like, who gives a fuck? And he might even say like, oh, well, I wanted Trump to get elected because I wanted to escalate further because then things will explode or something. That sounds ridiculous. But realistically, he makes a lot of money when Trump is in office. That's like his best views are when Trump is in office. People are looking at politics more and specifically political slot more, like Hasan, because like that's in the you know.
Main point of contention is you slandering him as a genocide defender.
Does that justify like lying about me continually for a year and a half just because you don't like where I'm focused? Guys? That seems immaterial.
Lying about what?
About me being a Destiny fan, about hallucinating, sweeping for your anti-Semitic friends, lying about context, saying that my video's out of context without watching it.
Damn.
Hasan, take your time.
He's silent because he knows Ethan's right. They then get into a debate about the rapes on October 7th. Hasan doesn't engage and just starts talking about other rapes as if it somehow makes it even, like he doesn't need to talk about it anymore. It's very weird.
You seemingly act like you care about sexual violence taking place against Israelis. Meanwhile, one of the hostages that actually was returned in the early stages did get raped by an Israeli fitness instructor.
Terrible. What does it have to do with him denying rapes?
You know,
I have not seen you talk about that. I have not seen you talk about the Israeli pro-rape
crime that
took
Israeli
place.
did unrelated to the conflict.
Israel
Do you find
had
it interesting?
January
There's something
6th.
that I.
You guys think that this mask is like whiteface? Is it like Ethan Klein face, or what do you think?
Style.
Just kidding.
Israel had a January 6th style pro riot.
Oh yeah, from like far right Israelis over like sexual violence inside of like the containment camps, or like some kind of a containment, or like some people that were like arrested. It was like, I remember looking at it. It was pretty terrible. But Noah Sam's trying to make it seem like all Jews supported it, but it was just far right-wing Jews that were like fucking insane over there, you know?
Where
like
a bunch of rabid right-wing...
Do you think I'm defending...
Yeah, Noah said that they weren't right-wing, by the way. Noah said that they were, from what I remember, he said that they were... that's just pretty much all Israelis that he was making, or most of them. That was the general Israeli sentiment. That was his argument.
This? Why I'm not defending this.
He's just rambling off things that aren't related in any way, and then he yells at Ethan for being on topic.
Listen to me. Listen to my words.
Touch my private parts.
Because you're not going through this in a dignified way, and I think it's very gross. What you're doing here is simply weaponizing a victim
you are so pathetic.
as a fucking prop.
Bro, you literally just did that to Ethan. The third tactic is the gaslighting technique. We all know Ethan's been targeted with...
Can't be gaslighting Jews. It's fucked up. What the hell?
CPS calls, death threats. AB is being called an Uncle Tom, a house slave by Bad Empanada, purely because he's Lebanese and works for Ethan. But since Ethan can't figure out the exact...
Wouldn't it make sense to try to extract resources from a Jewish person then, in this context, from their perspective, or an Israeli Jew? So wouldn't it make sense for them to work with him and maybe try to like psyop Ethan, try to get in there and try to, you know what I mean? Wouldn't that be actually a good idea? Double agent? I mean, it's not what's happening, I don't think, but wouldn't that be the argument?
Person who called CPS, Hasan's gonna act like no one's responsible.
I have never once in my entire life, Hasan, experienced the amount of harassment, the organized, psychotic campaign to try to ruin my life, all of my employees' life, my family's life, their family's life. This is your community acting in response to what you're saying about me being pro-Zionist. So do I think it's worse? In my experience, it's much worse.
You think that if Ethan was like the super like super Jew, like they're trying to make it seem like, you think that he wouldn't hire any like Middle Eastern people, right? Like, doesn't make any sense. I don't know.
Has done any of these things that you're talking about. Who calls CPS?
What the fuck? So I don't know.
Some kind of Hasan orbiter in some capacity, or Redditor. But...
So you don't know who calls CPS, and yet for the past couple of months you've been like, it's whoever I don't like that is called CPS.
No.
And now you're claiming that my community is responsible for it.
Bad Empanada calls for people to do it. Denim.
Well, I mean, like, that is your community. Bad Empanada is saying that. Denham's watched him say that, and like signal boosted it, made it seem like it was valid. I mean, yeah, that's Hasan's community.
His community calls.
I mean, maybe Hasan probably hates all these people for the most part. He just like says something like he'll just say like something charitable about them every once in a while. Just so that, because he feels like it probably, you know, if it benefits his platform. I don't think that he ever like supports people unless it has a benefit to him in some capacity.
For it to happen, Ian made a video to 7 million people saying it's justified, and Hasan promotes all of them. Hasan's getting notes during the debate from a guy called Chris CPS. Anyone with eyeballs knows.
What? Chris CPS? Wait, what?
All of them. Hasan's getting notes during the debate from a guy called Chris CPS.
What? That's insane. He's getting notes from somebody named Chris CPS? That's What is that?
And Hasan promotes all of them. Hasan's getting notes during the debate from a guy called Chris
CPS shared a file. That's actually crazy. That's funny. But just so you guys know, that's obviously not going to be about like Child Protective Services. It's not CPS. It's CPs. It's like, hey, Chris CPs. They love CP. Cheese pizza, for those of you who don't know. It was just trying to help out Hasan. So you guys got to relax a little bit. You guys, CPS. Oh, you guys think everything's about Ethan. So CPS. What does that have to do with Ethan? What does cheese pizza have to do with Ethan? I heard he's lactose intolerant.
CPS. Anyone with eyeballs knows it's coming from this anti-Ethan community.
Ridiculous. Never mind. Even cheese pizza is anti-Semitic. And apparently, according to Google, lactose intolerance is more prevalent among Ashkenazi Jews. I know that because my cousin is dating a Jewish person, and he's very lactose intolerant. So, guys, whether it's cheese pizza or cheese pizza is plural, multiple, or CPS, it's still anti-Semitic. It's still a dog whistle against Ethan, guys. That's fucked up.
His gaslighting is brutal, but Hasan is just warming up. Hasan tries to criticize Hila for doing mandatory military service.
Hila was doing mandatory military service. What should she have done?
They should have made her do like a calendar. Like firefighters, that's what she should have done. You know what I mean? Like that could have been kind of hot. Maybe something like a little more, you know what I mean? Like just something a little like Playboy, something tasteful. Or is that not really the... Is that a different question? Are we having a different conversation? What are we talking about?
There's numerous options. One, religious exemption. Two, refuse.
1, religious exemption. 2, 3, 4. Hey, Hasan, why do you give so much money to your taxes that go to Israel instead of just moving into another country? Hey, Hasan, how come you can't even not drink Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi that's on the BDS list? Oh, Hasan, it's so interesting that somebody who's so financially well off is so much refusal to do the bare minimum when it comes to his advocation, but he expects everybody else, that's incredible, expects everybody else to have like such a serious level of advocation for everything. That's fucking insane. So the rich Hasan doesn't have to do a goddamn thing to try to help Gaza. Like he can't even just change his actions a little bit. But the poor Hila, back when she was like 19, she's responsible for basically everything. Okay, makes a lot of sense.
Refusing to serve.
All right, makes sense.
Ask the obvious question. Our U.S. tax dollars help fund this genocide, so why doesn't Hasan stop paying taxes?
You say that Hila could have gone to jail and done a conscientious objection instead of joining the army. Why do you pay taxes? Why do you pay taxes?
Hasan could argue that, like, oh, well, that's more of a permanent thing. Like, I mean, maybe in Israel you only get like a day or a year in jail, but in for not paying taxes, it would be a much more severe penalty. You know, so I mean, maybe he can make that argument, but still, he can move to another country. He doesn't have to. He can move to another country. He could. Like I said, stop drinking Diet Pepsi. He could make, he could stream on a different platform or try to route people to a platform that isn't on the BDS list, like Amazon or like Twitch and, you know, whatnot. But he doesn't do any of those things.
To the United States government.
This is your big argument, Ethan?
Answer the question.
Whoa, is that your big argument?
That I pay taxes and I'm morally culpable? I know. That's why I try to
why don't
fight
you go to
against this
jail?
goddamn government doing
why
this
don't you
shit
stand
every
up for
day.
your Why don't you stand up for your principles and go to jail for it?
Because it would not actually stop. Okay, it would not actually stop.
He's right about that. It wouldn't actually stop. But again, there's other things that Ethan could have went with.
Hila objected to being a secretary. It wouldn't stop either. She'd just be in jail. It's just like Noah Sampson. What?
Well, I think that's, what is it, like a year? Maybe it's not. Oh, I don't even know, because now I'm looking into it, and it says that there's like repeated refusal, which means that if you don't go at first, they might just continuously leave you in jail. So could you even refuse going into the IDF? Just repeated jail sentences. Oh, I don't even know if there is a cap on that. Is there a cap? Huh. Interesting. I don't know. That's interesting, though.
Wants everyone else to make sacrifices, but they don't want to risk their own cushy lives. I'm using a lot of clips from their debate.
I'd rather be a secretary than go to jail for fucking however many years, you know?
Because Ethan being there to push back makes it easier to point out. But Hasan does
You
this.
heard iDubbbz is on the BDSM list? I don't know, man. I feel like, I know that Anissa and Anissa's husband are going to catch a stray here. I think one of the things with Anissa is she's like somebody who probably does like to do a little bit more dominant sex stuff, so she probably likes to peg. Whatever, that's fine. But I think that one of the problems with her and her husband's sex life is that her husband stinks like shit all the time, and so she can't even peg him without it smelling like a fucking, you know, like a fucking farm. And I think that might be one of the biggest struggles that they have in their relationship. Which is so unfortunate for her, you know what I mean? It's so terrible.
This all the time on his own stream. There, Hasan will just make ridiculous claims like the leader of Hezbollah being less anti-Semitic than Ethan Klein.
Ironically enough, Hasan Nasrallah less anti-Semitic than Ethan Klein.
Ethan Klein.
I cannot stress this enough. Hasan Nasrallah is less anti-Semitic than Ethan Klein.
I would totally believe that.
Ethan Klein constantly makes a conflation between Zionism and Judaism.
Whoa.
Hasan Nasrallah, on the other hand, does not. The clip that I was watching about Hasan Nasrallah, who is homophobic and definitely has some questionable perspectives.
Please ignore Ian. He's just here to watch.
In America, you have the major corporations. You have the trinity of oil companies, the weapons industry.
Whoa. They don't have those in other countries, guys. Just... I guess.
The so-called Christian Zionism. The decision-making is in the hands of this alliance.
Crazy.
Israel used to be a tool at the hands of the British.
Okay.
And
I mean, we understand like the historical reason that Zionism exists, right? It's an extremist movement that like advocates for like a Jewish homeland because there's constant anti-Jewish persecution, and now unfortunately it's being used to attack people in Gaza. But the general sentiment is like, I understand why it exists in the first place. Just like I understand why not Gaza, excuse me. This like I understand why Hamas exists in the first place, like a more extreme ideology that comes from oppression. So just you know, we can be a little intelligent about these things, obviously.
now is a tool in the hands of America.
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa.
Interesting. Once again, Hasan Nasrallah 1, Ethan 0 on the failing the anti-Semitism. Don't do anti-Semitism challenge. Ethan Klein failing the don't.
It's like anybody falling for this? Does anybody actually go like, oh, wow, that's true? Like, I don't understand. Who falls for this stuff? Does anybody actually eat this up?
Do anti-Semitism challenge. Hasan Nasrallah winning the don't do anti-Semitism challenge.
But did I miss the part where Ethan thought Jews secretly controlled the United States? Nothing he showed proved his point, yet look at his chat. They think he's a genius. Hasan talks about himself going on vacation like he's Vladimir Lenin fleeing the country.
By the way, I do want to point out something here.
You fucking
This
dog.
is January 31st,
Whoa.
2025.
Oh, this is when he got stopped by the TSA, right?
Was when this video was released. There was something brewing in the United States of America at that point. Do you want to know why?
Disgusting IPAs, yep.
I say this, I point out the date. We were already deep into the Donald Trump Burger Reich administration. At this point, I was in Japan, escaping the fascist administration rising to power.
Yeah, the only way he could survive was to go undercover as an anime waifu.
But at this point, it
Hey, smart cover, am I right?
had been 11 days since Elon Musk had dropped the Sig Heil twice.
Oh no, guys, Elon Musk also did something bad 11 days earlier. How dare Ethan talk about Hasan?
We're 11 days into Donald Trump. The reason why I mentioned this is because Ethan has a lot of issues with figuring out his priorities. If you're freaking out about anti-Semitism on the right.
Me too, guys. I actually have a huge issue. So I started exfoliating a few months ago, and my wife bought me a bunch of the Dr. Squash Star Wars soaps, which are pretty good, by the way. She loves the way I smell. It leads to some very sexy, intimate moments. I love it. She likes the Obi-Wan Kenobi one the most, which is pretty cool because that's like my favorite character. So, you know, soulmates. And, you know, I scrub my whole body. I like to scrub my head. I like to scrub my face with it. You know, I get like the loofah and everything. And the problem, though, is that, you know, obviously I scrub my balls with it, too. But sometimes I accidentally, like, kind of start with my armpits or balls, and then I'm like, oh, fuck, I got to do my face now. And it's like, well, I'm scrubbing my balls on my face. And so that's kind of tough. You know, so priorities are a struggle for me as well.
Guys, I would assume that you probably wouldn't make an entire video and use your previously unused platform to attack your former podcast co-host.
Ethan's criticized Trump. He's criticized Elon. So not only is Hasan just wrong, but it doesn't matter. Neither of those things absolve you of criticism. Hold up, guys. Trump passed tariffs. Can't talk about Hasan now. And finally, the most convoluted and annoying tactic Hasan does is the filibuster. It's like a really long
Oh, dude, yeah, he filibusted the fuck out of the reaction to the nuke.
rambly story Hasan tells where he implements a bunch of previous tactics into one. During the content nuke, Ethan criticizes
Dude, fucking 9 hours for 45 minutes. He's intentionally filibustering.
Hasan for downplaying China's treatment of Uyghur Muslims rather than
The reason that, because people might be like, no, he's just adding a lot of commentary. He's adding an unpalatable amount of commentary, right? Like, obviously, everybody talks a lot sometimes. Like, I'll sometimes typically double, triple the size of a video. But when you go from 45 minutes to 9 hours, what is it, like 13 times? You're not just trying to elaborate. You're trying to intentionally filibuster. That was the goal. That's the goal at that point. Because you know that it's not going to be entertaining or palatable. No one's going to actually watch it. You're just talking until people get bored of it. But it looks like you watched it to your fucking idiot fans.
Then dealing with Ethan's actual criticism, Hasan fixates on Ethan saying death camps on a podcast 2 years ago.
None of this even proves your point, which was that you watched a documentary that I suspected was like a Shenyun or Falun Gong documentary that said that there were death camps in China.
Well, there were camps where Uyghur Muslims were being put in there, and there wasn't any media allowed in there, which is really terrible. People are still missing to this day, so it's like a fact.
None of this, none of what he has shown so far has said that there are death camps in China.
That was not the point Ethan was making. In fact, the podcast Hasan is referring to, Ethan immediately concedes that there may have not been death camps.
But
they may not have been death camps, but they were in containment camps where media wasn't allowed in. It's pretty disgusting regardless, the fact that Hasan downplays it. He doesn't even give any context to it. He just goes, oh, they're not death camps, so they're fine. It's like, okay, like, that's great.
Uyghur death camps? Is that...
It's not a death camp. They were re-education camps.
That's a reframing. So a re-education camp is always going to be abusive. You don't like, tell fucking indigenous Americans like that re-education camps aren't a big deal. Like Hasan is basically whistling here. Re-education camps are always abusive. So that's fucking absolutely stupid.
And they are no longer in operation.
Is that
according
true?
to the Associated Press?
Yes, according to the Associated Press. So he knows that they probably are still in operation. He has to engage in plausible deniability. But again, like that doesn't sound like, yeah, those were disgusting. Fortunately, they weren't death camps, but they were disgusting. But they weren't death camps. They were re-education camps, which is abusive. That we're re-educating away from basically being Muslim, which, you know, okay, that's fucking terrible, obviously. I don't know why Hasan wouldn't add that context. There's a reason why he adds certain context and withholds other context, because he's trying to downplay the heinous actions of China for that one.
Okay.
So Hasan has clip-shipped a point from a podcast 2 years ago and is applying it to Ethan's video, even though that's not the point Ethan's trying to make.
Part of the reason why I don't think that he was able to prove his perspective in the conversation at all is because they weren't fucking death camps, and I was right. They were re-education camps.
By the way, that really just means prisons if you think about it, but we'll let them cook.
I've always been against that. This is the problem. And people will say, Hasan, we got you. You said you would be in favor of re-education.
Hasan also like lightly says he supports Ukraine sometimes. And then when he's pushed on it, he's like, oh, I don't really have a side. I don't really pick a side. Like, it's not just about some of the words you say. It's about like how you say them and what you mean behind them. It's obvious that he's full of fucking dog shit. Oh, it's right here.
There's a difference between re-educating people who have done crimes in the process of rehabilitation, okay, versus doing dragnets against an entire minority population and mass surveillance against an entire minority population. That is what I'm against.
This is the filibuster. He's not going to engage with Ethan's point, which is Hasan has a double standard for Russia and China because his brand is America bad all the time.
Hasan has happily eaten up the Chinese propaganda on this and has regurgitated it to his mainstream audience. Why is he defending China's genocide of their Muslim population? How does this even make sense? I know America bad is a meme that people laugh at online, but with Hasan, this does actually seem to be the beginning and the end of his analysis.
Two principles.
True.
Let me explain to you. Two principles that you should keep with you, coming from a person who's Turkish, okay?
Whoa!
Never align with the Western forces.
After 20 minutes of
I know a Turkish family. They have a whole gas station underneath their house for some reason. Like, I'm not even like memeing. They're also very wealthy. I think a lot of Turkish people that are here are like very wealthy. It's one of those things like the quote unquote model minority. You know, America will typically prioritize people with money over people without money. Kind of fucked. You know, it's like the whole brain drain conversation, but we're not getting into that because I don't care to have that conversation right now.
Hasan going on unrelated tangents. He pulls up a stream he did on October 13, 2021. He read an AP article that was critical of China, and he partially agreed with it.
This is the breakdown, okay? This is where me and a lot of defenders of China
defenders of China
part ways.
I love China.
I think that is completely and wholeheartedly unacceptable.
Damn.
People that unconditionally defend China think it's totally appropriate because they're all fucking extremist Muslims, okay? To me, that sounds a lot like, you know, you're a reactionary conservative, but for China.
He's being so careful when criticizing China. Where's all the screaming?
So when I look at other countries, I look at the regional actor, whoever the regional power.
I mean, if you think that America is so bad, then why was Hasan upset when they got rid of U.S. aid to other countries? If everything they do is bad.
Player is, and then I look at who is backed by the
America bad, but it's also bad if they don't help other countries with the money they give out around the world. Fuck. Which one is it?
Western superpowers. That's a principle that you could take home with you. If you want to actually be moral or if you want to be smart about the way you analyze other countries.
And then 1 month later in 2021, Hasan would get mad at the news for criticizing China over the same thing. And he would cite the same AP article for why China is cool.
I wanted to stand up for my Muslim brothers and sisters who are in, concentration camps are getting tortured and raped every day. And I don't care whoever said which organization or which company.
Bro, the Associated Press literally said, like, not like a fucking, not exactly known as like a pro-China outlet, but even the Associated Press quietly fucking wrote an article that didn't get a lot of coverage in mainstream media about how, like, okay, well, all the concentration camps have been closed now. Like all the re-education camps.
Why is he so desperate to defend these camps?
Camps are closed now in fucking Xinjiang, and it's like very different.
But the article Hasan read said they're slowing down camps because they possibly achieved their goals of subduing the.
Maybe simply, it may be, since some of the speculation, it may be simply that China judges it has come far enough in its goal of subduing Uyghurs and other mostly Muslim minorities. Jesus Christ, that's fucking horrible in its grip.
Uyghurs and other Muslims in the area.
Very different vibes in Xinjiang, and now it's
China good.
It's
what
the
fuck?
Hour.
So now that we're through that, let's break.
Look at that! I said China good, and I fell. This game is a Japanese game, so I guess they heard me.
Down how extensive this lie is. Hasan doesn't engage with the point Ethan's making about his positions always being anti-West, even when it doesn't make sense. Instead, he focuses on an irrelevant podcast clip that said death camps. Then he brags about reading an anti-China article he read 4 years ago where he basically has kid gloves on while criticizing China for having concentration camps. And then he ignores how only a month later he was bragging about how great China was for culling the population and closing the camps. No viewer is going to take the time and fact check all of this, so Hasan knows he can just call Ethan's video poorly researched and clip chimped.
I'll just start out by saying we're 8 minutes in and his research is not so great.
Whoa.
He doesn't prove his point at all.
China forced minorities on birth control, forced abortions through mandatory pregnancy tests, and
Jesus Christ.
Detention camps for having
and sterilizations. Jesus Christ.
Too many children. China's what happens when you successfully complete the genocide, but hey guys, at least they have high-speed rail.
It was literally an Associated Press article that I read talking about a high-speed rail line going all the way to Xinjiang.
Whoa.
Basically,
well, that's what happens when you steal all your money from people. You're able to invest in lots of great things. Okay.
Creating this massive network of high-speed rail.
Hey guys, what if we just threw bodies at as a problem? Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's just keep letting people die until we can build high-speed rail for, just people with money. It's crazy. It's crazy.
That was seen as a negative. That was portrayed as a negative thing.
We shit our
People
pants.
in Xinjiang still have freedom to travel.
Shit, I want Papa John's right now.
In that regard.
No, they don't. The article he read literally said they don't. This whole segment is Hasan proving Ethan right. Doesn't matter to Hasan, just declare victory.
So I'm surprised it took so long for WillyMac to say anything. Well, not WillyMac, but this is the first person that I'm seeing that really went in and debunked this whole Hasan lie. During his H3 nuke filibuster, and that's why that was the goal, to filibuster so much that people get uninterested. It's fun because that's the whole the point. That's why he filibustered the fuck out of it.
One must ask the question. Why Ethan Klein refuses to actually engage in any of the things that I'm saying, uses out of context clips, and also simultaneously has a very different standard for what China's doing as opposed to what Israel is doing.
You're literally the one doing all of that. Using out of context clips, not engaging with him, rewriting history.
What's his standard? Isn't he saying what's happening in Gaza is terrible, but he just he says the Israeli government is bad, but the people are good. That's basically his take. Same with China, guys.
These are all tactics he's done.
Only real criticism I have of China is there's not enough fat women. You know what I mean? You can't really look up Chinese BBW. It's kind of fucked up. It's kind of terrible. That's what I think personally. You know what I mean? It's what the hell am I looking at here?
For years, and not just with big things, small things too. He talks about the BDS boycott list. A fan comes up to him saying he needs to stop buying Coke on March 31st, 2024.
I'm sorry, I forgot to say you need to stop drinking Coke Zero on stream.
Why?
It's boycott.
Wait, is it?
You're preaching
It's boycock.
pro-Palestine and you're drinking all this boycott stuff. Please, Hasan, at least pretend. Do it off stream. Please.
Okay, I'll put it in a glass.
Then on November 21st, 2024, he finally takes a huge stand against Coca-Cola.
As of today,
a huge stand.
The Palestinian BDS National Committee, the largest Palestinian coalition leading the global BDS movement, endorses the organic boycott campaign against Coca-Cola to pressure the company and to end its complicity in Israel's illegal occupation, apartheid, and genocide. I will no longer showcase Coca-Cola products.
No longer showcase it. Not no longer drink it. No longer showcase it. This is fucking crazy. He can't even not drink Coke products. Like, this is fucking pathetic. Imagine pretending you care about Palestinian children dying, but you can't even not drink a fucking Coke. That's insane, dude. What the hell's the matter with you?
On my stream, that means no more Diet Coke.
On my stream.
There's a New York Times interview that took place on April 27, 2025. And what does Hasan got in his fridge? Diet Coke. That took place on April 27, 2025. And what does Hasan got in his fridge?
That's crazy. Oh my, dude, it's not even like edited. You can see this. It's actually fucking Diet Coke. This is crazy. This is actually so funny. Hold on. It's just fucking wild.
Diet Coke. This guy is telling his audience how great Disney Plus's show Andor is, even though it's supposed to be boycotted.
I finished Andor last night.
Wow.
It was amazing.
Guys, it's just too much to ask to not have Disney Plus and drink Diet Cokes when you're supposed to be the leader of the anti, is anti-Zionist pro-Gaza movement. You know, it's just too much to ask to not drink Diet Coke and watch Star Wars. It's too hard.
It was incredible. What a payoff. What a f***ing payoff, dude.
This is like weird levels of being complicit. Like, this is why nobody really cares. It's so funny because this is why nobody that Hasan preaches to gives a fuck about anything that they talk about, because like he doesn't really care. So they're what's communicated to them is that they can virtue signal as much as they want for the social brownie points, you know, as long as they regurgitate whatever Hasan says, but they don't really care or mean anything. They know that it just has to be very shallow. That's why people are caring less and less, unfortunately, about what's going on in Gaza, because of this is the main representation. The guy who can't stop drinking Diet Coke, the guy who can't stop fucking engaging in Disney Plus, you know, the guy who can't stop engaging with different things that are on the BDS list, the guy who literally streams on Twitch exclusively. That's Amazon's on the BDS list, I'm pretty sure, but he could make his own streaming site for just himself. Other streamers do it very successfully and then try to route people from Twitch over there. He can still stream on Twitch, but try to route them. Doesn't do that. He can't do the bare minimum, dude. He can't do fucking anything. He does not care. And people see that. And that's why people really aren't caring as much, because this is the leader of the fucking movement. This is it. This is what you got.
Dude, I highly recommend it. Obviously, Disney is BDS, so, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
What does that mean? You got to do? Are you stealing it? Is he claiming that he steals it? I doubt it. Get the fuck out of here.
Mention this guy also streams on Twitch, an Amazon-owned subsidiary that is also on the BDS list. But to Hasan, it doesn't count because it's a subsidiary.
Amazon is on that list, but Amazon is not on that list for Twitch, and it's not on that list for a permanent fucking blockade of Amazon and all Amazon-related products, because Palestinian National Committee understands that half of the websites that we are on and that we use AWS as its backend.
He's saying that
he's so stupid. You're giving money to Amazon, dude. Just knock it off. You're so fucking stupid.
While thanking his viewers for Twitch Primes every other stream, only available with Amazon Prime, by the way.
Your contributions in the form of a subscription that is $6 a month, or a free one in the form of a Twitch Prime, is all that it takes. For free with a Twitch Prime, you can continue
Twitch Prime
supporting the show. Or for free with a Twitch Prime.
How can anyone respect this guy? He's telling...
It's free with Twitch Prime. It's just not free Palestine. I think that's probably a really good... I think that's like a really good thing you say. It's free with Twitch Prime, but we're not free in Palestine, guys. Oh! What an epic gamer moment we're having right now.
People to risk jail time by dodging service, but he won't risk moving to another streaming platform. He doesn't tell people to stop using Twitch Prime. He doesn't turn off monetization on YouTube, but he won't even give up the pop he's drinking. These people suck. Even the
pop
thing Hasan admits he's wrong on, he still does on a daily basis.
The first ever React game, when people were getting mad at me because I would have the chair on, and while
put a chair on,
the videos were playing. Totally fucking fair and valid, and for the past multiple years that's not happened on my broadcast. Like, there are instances where I get up to pee, but it's
I'll be real with you, I already forgot about the slogan.
Usually during
free with the Twitch Prime, but we're not free in Palestine.
A video that's playing that's like from a friend, or
I'm gonna reflect on strength in the game. Let's see. This one is Falling Forever. This one is Slowly Overwhelmed. This one is Can't Stop Drinking Diet Coke. Wow. Fucking It's real strength.
From news and commentary, and it's only for like 30 seconds to a minute.
You reacted to his video, and you just
JXE
sort of
maybe?
left. And it wasn't a political video. It was
What
like
do you think I'm lying about, bro?
It wasn't.
Fun little video. And I think his point was valid. In that
Yeah, and I apologize. By the way, that's the other thing. I literally apologized to that person instantly. And then they basically like quintupled down and like did this like 8-hour broadcast with a bunch of like random fucking slop tuber commentary people, and I was like, what the fuck? I think this guy's just like trying to farm drama out of this.
I'm pretty sure they're not even a guy. It's a they person, so.
Intentionally lying. He initially responded to Jay by saying he had no other choice but to leave and eat while the video was still playing.
You could leave a sign saying "gone for a dump" back in 5, or could just give credit where it's due and actually react while he's in the room. Doesn't seem like a lot to ask.
True.
These motherfuckers are like, dude, peanut bottle, dude. On him, how is it any different than him?
Just pause the fucking recording, you idiot. Pee in a bottle. What a loser.
Just watching YouTube video off stream, it just rubs me the wrong way. Like, how do you think of your viewers to just stream your break? Dude, what am I supposed to do? Die? Like, I don't understand.
When Jay
He's such a baby. Just pause the fucking video when you're taking a piss, you pussy.
pointed out how immature Hasan is, he called
This is ridiculous, dude.
Jay a Nazi.
This is what I said 1 fucking year ago. Since then, he made a video, or they made a video afterwards.
Whoa,
They
misgendering? How come Hasan didn't get dumpstered for misgendering and Ethan did, even though he was properly gendering Bo Blacks? Interesting, makes you think.
had like a bunch of Nazis on the kill stream get together and do an 8-hour reaction to my entire stream.
Hasan is
This guy loves calling people Nazis unjustifiably. Is that Chad? Is that anti-Semitic?
backtracked to call Jay a farmer over this, but Jay wasn't even on that stream. Jay is on Twitter laughing at how wrong Hasan's rewriting of history has been. But the funniest part is Hasan is still doing all of this. The day I wrote this segment, Hasan was on stream reacting to a video. He's halfway through and he didn't even know if it was AI or not.
Is this AI? Did Fireship make this video with fucking AI? We only watched a couple slop videos, and now immediately my brain is wired in a way where I'm thinking.
How does Hasan pay less attention to the videos he watches than I do when I'm literally fucking playing video games on the hardest difficulty? On the hardest difficulty, guys. And I'm owning. See, I'm playing this right now. People are like, Papa God, are you actually playing this right now? See, look at that. All right, you stupid little asshole horse. It's crazy.
Thinking,
hey, what's up,
this
guys?
could perhaps be AI.
He then drinks his Dr. Pepper and unpauses the video to go grab his Uber Eats, shouting chair stream because he knows what he's doing is wrong.
Check this.
But what might be more exciting is the release of Gemma 3N. Gemma models are open, so as a developer...
Damn. Is he still doing this? What the fuck? Holy shit.
You can...
He comes back adding the incredible commentary of terrifying.
Terrifying, guys. Just don't play the fucking video while you're streaming. It's fucking crazy. Fucking loser.
Even though he has no clue what's going on. And before I can even finish the sentence, he leaves again.
And I think it could be
By the time he finishes grabbing his Mountain Dew, the video is over.
Link below. This has been the Code Report. Thanks for watching.
But guys, you remember when he talked about how hard it was to be a streamer? And even though he's like rich, he could just stream less. And he's like, no, I gotta stream all day and do nothing. Obviously, the majority of his content that he does is unentertaining dog shit. He just leaves stuff on for people to come in there and watch him. And that's it. Like, he's just basically TV. That's why he won't go to YouTube, by the way. That's why he won't stream on other platforms, because he can't. Because he doesn't provide, like, actual transformative content, like, most of the time. And then he has fan channels re-uploaded going, that's not me, it's not me, even though I fucking guarantee you that the guy's taking a cut from it. But the one segment he puts on his channel every day, that's transformative enough, which it is, but that's most of his shit.
And I will see you in the next one.
Wow. What a hard job.
He added nothing to the video. But when asked if he was still doing this on stream, he's going to lie and say he stopped.
A bunch of stuff that I did initially that I changed. I don't do anymore. Like I don't cook food while on stream.
Well, did he ever cook it himself?
Like I order. Like there's a bunch of stuff that I used to do that I don't do anymore. That in an effort to, like, you know, reduce the chair time. The thing that I was frustrated by is that people were just like saying that all I do is just like put the chair on and fuck off.
Put a chair on.
And that was annoying to me because it's like,
that does happen consistently enough to be a reasonable criticism. So, okay.
Before the ReactGate shit, I was known for being a person who paused all the time. and like added way too much.
It's just like, it's at the point where like he knows what he's doing. Like, yes, I pause all the time too. That's what he does on the videos. He releases himself. Oh, you pause too much. You pause too much. You pause too much. On the videos, he releases himself. But then most of the time when he's just trying to fill that air, instead of doing something and providing actual commentary, he just lets it go. That's why I don't do like a bunch of slop shit. Like, I have no interest. Like, there's a lot of content that I could probably do, but I just don't want to because I don't feel like sitting here and saying nothing and just watching it for the sake of watching it. You know, I want to like actually be a little more meaningful in the stuff that I try to produce, you know, and it works out because then you don't have to stream that much either. I mean, that's a kind of a nice, you know what I mean? Like, I like streaming, but 3-4 hours is like an average stream. I'd say like 5 or 6 is a long stream for me. And I'm just chilling. I could hang out with my wife. I could do whatever the fuck I want. I could fucking jerk off. I could do whatever, chores. It's, you know, it could be, I do a little of my own editing still, but like, you know, I have the majority of it is done by August. So I could just relax and enjoy myself. And then I put less out into the atmosphere, which is a good thing, I think, too. Like, it's not too much, I think, that bothers people, you know?
Much information to the fucking video that like people lost the plot of the video.
Brother, your viewers complaining that your attempts to make a video fair use or boring does not make it okay to walk away from a video while it's...
Well, then you're not good at what you do. Oh, fuck, I was talking, so I fucking got murked. You're not, if you're a reactor and people are like, oh, this video's boring, then you're not good at reacting. Like, that's pretty much it. That's just a reality of the situation. You shouldn't be doing reactions at that point because you're not transformative enough. Or nobody's there for you then. You're boring. You're adding too much. You're boring. Then you're not really, nobody gives a fuck about you. That's a crazy fucking...
Don't ironically think like there's just a chair for an hour for like a 15-minute YouTube video.
There shouldn't ever just be a chair at all. That's what everyone is saying is so offensively against fair use.
I've taken the notes from all of the people that shit on me for years over that, which is part of the reason why you don't really hear too much about people saying that I'm like reacting unfairly or whatever. I don't even, I rarely ever react to like an unknown channel anyway nowadays, and it's mostly just like news and commentary that I'm adding additional commentary over.
Well, that's why people don't complain, because we're at a point where politics is much more popular, and there's a different conversation about fair use when it comes to politics and the actual news, and like the creators themselves, there's nobody to really complain. There's no online culture, so it's like, oh, you're watching something from fucking Fox News. Like, they're not going to come out and officially complain to you, whereas like a fucking creator obviously is going to complain to you. Like that's the reason why that there's not as much fucking noise about it, because there's no noise. There's nobody to make the noise about. People who are criticizing you are people whose videos you just like watched instead of reacted to, and they're like, this is bullshit. That's the difference. He's pretending like there's something. Hasan would be doing the exact same thing, which he still does, but Hasan would be doing the exact same thing in the exact same frequency if there wasn't anything to talk about. Like right now, politics is hot. When politics wasn't hot, that's when Hasan was doing more of the chair reacts that people were complaining about, because he was chair reacting to other creators more, because there wasn't as much political slop for him to just sit through and barely give any meaningful commentary to. Like, you have to keep this in mind. Like, it's, you know, he pretends like he's changed. He hasn't. The atmosphere has changed. And when it changes back and everything calms down, he's going to do the same shit again. People are going to complain. So this time he's going to be like 40 years old. They're going to be like, what the fuck are you doing at 40 years old? Just like literally doing nothing. He's going to go, I don't believe in IP. America bad. And then people are going to get bored of it. And they're going to be like, okay, this is enough. They're fucking bored.
People don't respond to you doing it anymore because you've clearly shown you don't care and that you're not going to stop. Him saying it's fine because he mostly does it to the news. It's not true, but it also doesn't matter. Fair use doesn't stop at you watching the news.
Well, again, there is different fair use policies with the news. I think people should be aware of that. There is different fair use policies with that. At least that's my understanding. So,
and just released a video showing how blatantly these people steal content rather than transforming it.
And here's Casey Trons. She smoked more than she spoke. Casey Tron smokes 42 times during her reaction. And just as a silly thought experiment, we thought, wouldn't it be funny if she spent more time smoking than she did talking? Well, we tallied them up, and lo and behold, there's 15 minutes 40 seconds of commentary versus 18 minutes and 55 seconds of smoking. She spent 3 minutes and 15 seconds longer smoking than she did talking in her quote-unquote reaction. And whatever talking she did was just to express how confused she was, presumably from smoking 42 times.
That's crazy. Casey Tron is just like,
what is happening? I'm trying to follow. I've
This is
lost
so
the
funny.
plot.
So we like.
Dude, it's Casey Tron. Of all the, I kind of like Casey Tron, and I just don't understand why she doesn't have an actual content strategy that involves more than just like barely watching content. I don't really understand it. Like, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing more? Why don't you have, like, I don't even think she doesn't even post on her YouTube from what I remember. And it's crazy how you have people like Casey Tron that have established platforms that could work on themselves and work on making it like a legitimate career by doing better with their reactions and like posting content on YouTube that's actually like reasonably transformative. But they just refuse to do it. They're so fucking lazy. And I don't know what it comes from. Does it come from the fact that, like, you know, you won't be at that many, like, your views won't be very good at first when you start producing content again? Like, what is it? I don't understand. I don't understand the complete, like, just laziness when it comes to doing fucking React content. You know, it's just fucking crazy.
Lies about small things, lies about big things, rewrites history, argues positions that...
Like, you don't even have to do commentary on this stuff. You could do other stuff, too. Like, there's plenty of things that you could figure out how to do a strategy.
Critics don't have, calls for others to make sacrifices while he can't give up a single luxury in his life, and he aligns himself...
Dude, like 10 years from now, these people are going to be so fucking, like, poor, and they're going to be begging for money, they're going to be crying. That's what it's going to be.
...with doxers and harassers as long as they're on his side. Mislabel everyone, dodge every critique, in the name of them being right-wingers or Nazis or genocide supporters, even though none of it might be true.
Ethan's a right wing, obviously. These people either directly support or tacitly support child murder, mass child murder. That's ultimately what it is. This is the main point of contention. Be mean to them. If they feel bad, if they feel harassed, honestly, great. I don't give a fuck. Fuck them. Fuck each and every one of them. We need to be mean to these guys. We need to be assholes. They just
fucking them is mean. Put it right in their ass, dude. That's fucking mean.
He literally has an old stream clip explaining his current day tactics.
You deny, you deflect, and then you counterattack the person who like launched this investigation on you, and you try to claim that like there's a hidden bias there. And most lizard brain dipshits who like love you unconditionally will go, "Oh, finally, I have an out to defend this person."
These people aren't good faith actors. They aren't civil rights leaders. They're social narcissists that prey on their viewers' fears to make a bag. They're like the meme where the peasants are rioting to get more pay, and Hasan's the king looking at all of his treasure going, "I'll help spread the message." I'm out of town right now, as you guys could probably tell, but I felt like it was important to make this
I couldn't tell. How the fuck were we supposed to tell, dude?
video to document all of the craziness going on right now. People should know what these guys have been up to. Shout out to everyone who's been reacting to my content.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
This going on right now. People should know what these guys have been up to. Shout out to
That's me.
everyone who's been reacting to my content.
Fuck this guy. I really don't. I don't know what it is about Tectone that makes me uniquely hate this guy. I really don't know what it is, dude. I don't know what I don't even know. I couldn't even explain it to you. But there's something uniquely that makes me fucking hate this guy. Like, he's such a disingenuous fucking piece of dog shit. I feel like he's so annoying. He's as annoying as this fucking bird. God damn it. There's something so ingenuine about him that's so unique to like everybody else that like I don't see in a lot of other like, I don't know, he just like, I think he just does everything for the approval of fucking Asmongold. Like, that's what I think it is. And like, I'm not, like, I obviously don't agree with Asmongold's opinions usually, but I think he's genuine when he says, generally speaking. But there's something so uniquely disingenuous about fucking Tectone that irks the shit out of me. He's always just looking for approval, and then he cries the second people criticize him. Like when Hasan started making fun of his dad for being like a fucking disgusting like sex freak, and then he's like he says something about Hasan. He throws his hat into the arena of like fucking like online criticism, and then he cries the second he gets fucking pushback. Take the L, suck my fucking balls. Literally eat shit. I do not fucking care. I don't give a fuck, dude. He's like the least genuine content creator I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay. There's something about him, bro. I don't know. But okay.
I've enjoyed seeing it, and it's actually been in fair use. You're all legends. I have one more video covering the more unhinged side of this topic. Yes, it gets worse. So
maybe that's why he's my cousin. Yeah, true.
Subscribe to the channel. Shout out to the homies over on Patreon: Crimson Glass, Riveter, Christina Vina, Mac Monkey, Drain Kobex, Necro Valley, The Confusing Opinion, Eddie Bizzle, Tiz McFitz, Christopher H, Sennial Music, Lucasif, ET Automatic, Snoopy Poop Tube 2, Amur ML Bay, Rooney Boo, Drew is Sharon, Clown Factory, Monkey D Luffy, Shura, Mustard Shirt Guy, Tiffany Sullivan, and the mega homies: Hellison, IGP, Your Taxi, Cyber Katie, Lore Reloaded, Papa Gut.
Good video.